Welcome back to JBSports. I'm your host, Jonathan Burton, and today is Friday, so it's all normal sports. We'll get just straight into this. We're talking about NFL because it is right at that time. So, playoffs, who are set and who's not. AFC Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Texans, Steelers, and Chargers are all locked in for the playoffs. They have also locked in their divisions. So, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens, Texans are the head of their divisions. So, on the bubble for the AFC, Broncos. Broncos, Dolphins, and Bengals are all in contention for this playoff spot. And big thing about this one is like all of them have a chance, but really the Broncos have the best one. I think they just need a win or tie, and they're going against a Chiefs team who isn't starting basically anyone. Their starting quarterback is Carson Wentz, and if you've seen him play recently, Commanders, Carson Wentz, you can tell it's not good. So, um, it's probably gonna be the Broncos who win their game. And the thing is, the Bengals, I guess, I think I'd rather see but they have to win their game against Pittsburgh, which Pittsburgh hasn't been playing the best recently, so there's a chance they can do it, but it would be tough. Dolphins have to lose to the Jets, which my guess is Tyrod Taylor will probably start that game. I think Aaron Rodgers might be done for the season, and you got to see what's happened there. Maybe the offense is kind of revived with Tyrod, and Dolphins might suck. They tend to do that a lot. So we'll see what happens there. And then Broncos, like I said, Chiefs just resting their starters, so I don't really think too much will happen there. Then NFC side, Lions. They are not locked in there for the division. The Vikings and Lions are actually going back and forth for it. This week will be the best game, but I'll talk about that in a minute. So, Lions, Eagles, who have locked in the division after beating the Giants. Rams, you're welcome as Commanders fans. And then the Vikings, Commanders, and Packers. Commanders are the 6th seed right now. So I was right when I said if the Packers lost their game against the Vikings, we'd be in 6 and they'd be in 7. So I was right about that. So we need to win our game, but we'll talk about that too because I'll talk about that game in a little bit. And then the Packers, the two teams that are kind of fighting for that spot are the Falcons and the Bucks. If the Bucks beat the Saints, they're in. And if you know the Saints, they don't look good at all. They really look pretty bad. So I don't think the Saints will win. I mean, Rattler might play good. You never know, but I don't. I don't really see it happening. I think the Buccaneers will kind of lock it down. I don't think they'll play. They'll probably, if I was them, I play my starters first half when it's kind of harder, get a big lead, and then sit them. Because I don't think the Saints are going to even do good against the second strings of almost all the Buccaneers team. You can give Kyle Trask some time, and he might do good against them. So I think that's pretty locked in. Falcons, rough loss last week against the Commanders, but it's what happens. It was a very good game. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. So right now, if I'm saying AFC, who's getting in, I actually am gonna say the Broncos. I want to say Bengals. Bengals are my second choice just because I know some people that are big Bengals fans, and I'd love for them to make the playoffs for them because I think it would be very fun to watch if they did. But we'll see. And then you know you have on the NFC side, I really think it's the Bucks. I think the Bucks got this like locked in fully. So they're not losing it at all. So we'll see what happens after this. So and then eliminated Seahawks, you're welcome. We eliminated you. Cowboys, you're welcome. let me say something about the Cowboys. So we're gonna talk about Micah Parsons for a second. Micah Parsons is such a character. For him to say the only reason we lost was because of 5 plays. So you're saying just get rid of the scoreboard because it's I don't understand how he could say that. Of course, when you take away 5 plays, most of them resulting in a touchdown, it's gonna be a different game just because they didn't score the touchdowns. So I didn't fully understand why he'd say that. I, what he can say whatever he wants, but I didn't think that was the best thing to say just because you can't. Of course, if you take away the touchdown, it's gonna be a different game because they didn't score. So that's what I'll say about it. I think it was a little funny, but whatever. Cardinals eliminated. 49ers gone. Saints, they've been gone. Bears, they've been gone. Panthers. Okay, and now we're gonna talk about the Giants. So the Giants, you need a new quarterback now. This draft, you need to get one of the quarterbacks. So you go out there against the Colts and say, hey, you know what? We're going to go and put up, I think it was 42 points with Drew Lock. Why? Because if you look at the draft positions right now, it's Patriots, Titans, Browns, then it's you guys. I'm not saying this will happen because I still will be making a mock draft video, but if there's a chance, even a small chance, that the two people ahead of you could draft a quarterback, why would you win? The Titans, I'm sorry, they need a new quarterback. I'm not Will Levis he was cool and all, but he's not a high level starting quarterback. And then the Browns, Deshaun Watson, I don't think you stick with him. I know you just restructured his contract, but one of those two quarterbacks, Shadur or Cam Ward, can bring that competition you want in your room. Just because you don't you don't really want to play around with them. Uh, I think that you just have to go with someone new. Jameis Winston, I love him. He's hilarious, but he throws too many picks. Uh, Thomas Robinson or Robinson Thomas, whatever way it is around, he's not working so well. I mean, it could be because the Browns have a good team around him, but I really think you should just get a different quarterback and really test him out. I mean, there's a chance, Kirk Cousins, now that he's going to be a free agent because the Falcons are going to release him, there is a high chance you can maybe get him on a vet minimum for that contract. I don't think it would be terrible. It's like a Russell Wilson situation. That's what this Kirk Cousins thing is going to be. He's going to get signed to a vet minimum by some team who wants a quarterback or thinks Kirk Cousins they can squeeze whatever's out of it. You know, which Falcons seem to already done that, but it's going to end up being the same situation with Russell Wilson. But back to the Cowboys. I mean, the Giants. You're possibly missing out a chance of getting your next quarterback. I'm not going to say franchise because this quarterback class is a little iffy. I don't personally. I'm not too sold on Shooter Sanders yet or Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward can be very talented. I think right now he's not an NFL level starting quarterback, and I could be wrong because if you look at one of my old episodes, it was one of the first ones. I said that Bo Nix was just going to be another mid quarterback for the Broncos, and he's turned out really well. So I as a sports analyst and like someone who watches sports, I got to be okay with being wrong, which I have been wrong on a few times. I said the Commanders were only going to get 7 wins. I said that was the max zone again. Look at them now. So I've been wrong a few times, and I could be wrong again. I just have to admit that. But I personally don't think that he'll be a great starting quarterback coming out of the draft right out. And Shadur, I'm not sold on him. I'm sorry. Something about it is just I just can't get behind it. I just think he's accurate. He's really accurate, but some things about his game I just don't like, which again, I could be wrong. So it could go any way, but I really don't think that, you know, it's going to end amazed. I don't think they're going to be like really, really high valued starting quarterbacks, at least in the beginning. They both could turn this on, but more, I think I'd be more interested in the potential of Cam Ward than Shitter. But besides the point. But yeah, so Giants, you really messed up winning that game because now there's the Titans and the Browns who could possibly draft a quarterback ahead of you, you know, or the Raiders could try to trade for one of those spots ahead of you. And if you look at the spots so far, if I'm the Patriots, I don't trade down because the whole off season happens before. So one of these teams could sign Kirk Cousins, but if they don't, if you're the Patriots and you trade down to the 4th, one of them could only want a specific quarterback. Say like the Titans only want Shooter, something like that maybe. And you trade with the Giants, bring you back to 4th, and they draft Shooter. And the Titans are like, hey, I want him. Who am I going to pick now? They might pick the other best horse on the board, which would be either Travis Hunter or wide receiver out of Arizona. I forgot his name. Shoot, I forgot his name, but one of those two. And they take Travis Hunter. So I think the Patriots have too much to lose and too much risk of trading out of the first pick. So they're probably keeping the first pick to take Travis Hunter. It would just be the smart thing to do. Next, say the Titans don't want one of them, but the Raiders offer a better deal. They trade with the Raiders. Raiders become second. They pick Shadur or they pick Cam Ward, and then maybe the Browns take the other person they pick. So it was way too much risk for them to lose that pick than to just lose the game. I mean, short term, yeah, it's nice for your team to finally win a home game, I think it was, in forever. But you just possibly lost out a chance at winning your next, not winning, sorry, lost a chance at getting your next quarterback that could really help you out because the quarterbacks you have right now are not doing it for you. And you got rid of Daniel Jones, so you can't even try again with him. So you kind of screwed yourself in a sorts if the other teams go for a quarterback. They could not, but my thoughts are I think they might. So that's what I have about the Giants, but it is what it is. Jets, they need a whole new run through. They need a new quarterback, so I won't be surprised maybe if you see them first round go like maybe an offensive tackle, something about that. I will come out with that mock draft episode, but you see them draft a quarterback maybe third or fourth round, maybe I could see maybe Jalen Milroe falling that far, and then they just pick him up as a backup. And honestly, I'd probably want them. If they draft him, they should probably let him learn behind A-Rod, but A-Rod might be gone too. So I don't know what's gonna go on there. Something's going up there that they need to fix. I mean, if you have your GM and owners saying that they didn't trade for Jerry Jeudy because his Madden rating was too low, they need a lot of fixing, and the fixing is not happening. So we'll see what happens. Okay, next we're just going to go straight into the Commanders game against the Falcons. Wow, what a game. Another solidifying game for Jaden Daniels' legacy. 5 touchdowns thrown in the last 30 seconds of games. I think that's most in history or something, and most in a season. Not history. Oh, that's a whole rabbit hole. Jaden Daniels might do that, though. But most in a season, I believe it was. So Jaden Daniels continuing to add to the legacy of the best rookie quarterback year of all time, in my opinion. CJ Stroud is really good, but Jaden Daniels is another level. 11 rookie of the week, so 11 out of the 17 weeks there's been a rookie of the week. Jaden Daniels has been it 11 times, so he's going crazy. But stat-wise, I will say Michael Penix Jr., he didn't play like amazing. 19 for 35, 223 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That first interception, that was miscommunication, I guess, between the two, but he just sailed it over his head into Quan Martin's hands, which I thank him for because that led for an easy score for us. But like he had some great plays. I mean, him and Drake London were connecting very well. I think Michael Penix, once he he just gets more comfortable, he'll stop having those overthrows because he had a few overthrows which were great for us because they were throws that probably would have been caught if it was a little lower. But he's getting into it. I think Michael Penix will be amazing. He will be a very good starting quarterback for the Falcons. I didn't think he was going to start till maybe year 2 or 3. But he got his start. He's proved himself to be ready for that role. He just needs to get the passing a little more accurate, and he'd be totally fine. He's going to be great. Bijan, he cooked us. 17 carries, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then Drake London, their leading receiver, 7 receptions, 160 yards. He was absolutely cooking Michael Davis. Honestly, it's at the point where, yeah, I was really annoyed with how Benjamin St-Juste was playing, and I might have said that I'd rather see Michael Davis play. I take all of that back. Oh my gosh, was Michael Davis terrible. He was standing around, just like he was just in a stance watching them run past him. I don't know what was happening. He looked like a goal statue or whatever it was, just standing there. So honestly, last week against the Cowboys, just let him start. Just let Benjamin St-Juste start, please. Because at least when Benjamin St-Juste is getting cooked, he's still in the same stratosphere. He's just holding. He's not in a totally different zip code, totally different stratosphere, just watching him catch it. So as much as I talk trash on Benjamin St-Juste, I'm sorry. We need him. I'd rather have him start over Michael Davis. If it wasn't for our non-depth in the role, Michael Davis, I'd want him getting cut before Benjamin St-Juste. So, ooh, terrible game for him on defense, which I don't. He might start. He might play more, not more than he did, but he might play a little still against the Cowboys just because Marshall Lattimore sitting because we want him to be healthy for playoffs because that will be very, 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 very important, especially when we play the Rams because they got two pretty good receivers. So going to the Commander stats. Jaden Daniels, 24, 36, 227 yards, three TDs, one in overtime, and one interception. Interception, yeah, they just tricked us good. I forgot the linebacker's name the guy on the Falcons that intercepted it, but it was a really good play. A little inside fake, went back out, caught the interception. Great play. I can't really say much more about it. It wasn't anyone getting held. It wasn't anything tipped. It was just a great play by him. I have to admit it. Other three touchdowns. Good one to Zacchaeus. Really good throw. Zacchaeus has been really good the last 2 weeks. He had 2 touchdowns against the Eagles, and then he comes out, has 8 receptions, 85 yards, and 1 touchdown against the Falcons. And he's looking good. Ozzie, finally, after apparently Cliff Kingsbury was calling him Oz the whole year, finally, after someone told him it was Ozzie seems to start to cook. So something about it was holding him back, but guess what? Now Ozzie is on fire. So welcome, Ozzie, I guess. I'm joking. But great game by him. And then rushing yards, 16 carries by Jaden Daniels, 127 yards, which another record for Jaden Daniels is the most rookie rushing yards by a quarterback, of course. And it was great. And it's just great to see as a fan of Jaden Daniels and a fan of Washington because RG3 held that role for a long time. And if anyone's a Washington fan, even if you're not, you probably know what us Commanders fans went through mentally. So much sadness, so much heartstrings being pulled for years after RG3's injury because he was the next thing for us. And earlier in the game, there was one play, Jaden Daniels, Brian Robinson just didn't block. He didn't block for him at all. And a guy came from the back and tackled him his knee. Like when he got folded, I was cringing. I was getting like a PTSD flashback after that. I was so worried something really bad was going to happen. Thankfully, as you can see, Jaden Daniels was fine because he ran for 127 yards, which, if we're being honest, he shouldn't be doing that because, he's a quarterback. He should be able to stay clean in the pocket, but our O-line is not healthy right now, and it's not the best totally. So we got to address that in the offseason, but it's okay. He shouldn't be running that much, though, as a quarterback. But I'm happy he's able to. And 3 touchdowns, one to OZ, and then 2 to Ertz. That first one to Ertz was very close. He threaded the needle very well, got that touchdown. And then the last one in OT, threw it. People didn't think it was a catch. Zach Ertz called it, and it was a touchdown to win the game. I love it. I'm so happy the Commanders are 11-5. We're doing great, and I'm so proud of us. One thing I will say, though, is someone in my comments in TikTok, totally fair to say, he said we wouldn't be talking about Jaden Daniels as much if it wasn't for a coin flip. We'd be talking about Michael Penix instead. And, as much as I did talk about coin flips and how unfair it kind of was, not unfair. I was saying it was against when the Buccaneers went against the Chiefs and they didn't go for 2 and they lost the coin flip. It's a fact of the game. I think in regular season, I don't know if they should. It's tough because if it probably happened against my team, I might have been saying opposite, but I think I'd be saying the same. Listen, the Falcons, they didn't go for 2. They missed the field goal. They had chances to win the game. So a lot of people were saying, hey, it's unfair that Michael Penix didn't get a drive with his team. You had chances to win the game. I mean, I would have said the same with the Commanders. We had if it went the other way. We had a field goal. We had a chance to win the game, and it didn't go their way. It didn't go our way. So a coin toss not going your way is just a fact of the football game. In playoffs, I think it should have been changed just because it's a different time. Playoffs is just something totally different atmosphere, different level of fandom. So I understand doing it in that sense, but regular season, it's You had chances. I think it should stay the same, especially for like time wise. Playoff games, I get going very long. This, no, I don't. I don't think it should go that long. Which saying, Bengals versus Broncos was amazing, but I think it's totally fine. You know what? They had a chance to win, and honestly, if we would have lost, I might have said the different, but I'm pretty sure I would have said, "Hey, we had a chance to win. We didn't win it." So it's a fact of the game. It's just what happens. But really happy we won. Really happy with the Commanders are doing. Hopefully we get healthy because Biotis was out. He got an ankle hurt. I will say Chris Rodriguez also scored a rushing touchdown. Chris Rodriguez is really, really proving himself. He is pulling out for the squad. He's doing great. Love him. He should be on the main roster because I know when Austin AE comes back, Austin Eckler, they got to move a roster spot. You can't take Chris Rodriguez out. I am so sorry. Chris Rodriguez has done so much where he does not deserve to be put back on the practice squad. You better keep this man up there. He has been amazing for us. So that's my opinion on that. Which Austin Eckler, I'm happy he's healthy. He said he's like 100%. I really hope that's the feeling because I wouldn't want him hurting himself again and kind of hurting his health for the rest of his life. I don't want anything really bad to happen. Not that it will happen, but if there's a chance it did happen, I don't want it to happen. So keep him off special teams. Please keep him off special teams. For the love of God, take him off of special teams. Do not put him there. So, talking about the Commanders and going into the next game, especially, we will talk about special teams. So, the keys to win, and this is a very important game. People don't understand this, but this is a very important game because the Packers and us are fighting for the 6th seed. If we lose to the Cowboys, they have the advantage over us with division wins, I believe. And so we have to win this. We have to get the 6th seed because the 6th seed is very important because if we win the 6th seed, we play the Rams instead of the Eagles. And I'm not saying we can't beat the Eagles. We did without Jalen Hurts, of course, so you have to factor that out. And we could still possibly win, but you have to keep in mind the Eagles are a harder team to beat than the Rams, in my opinion. So I'd rather go against the Rams than I would the Eagles. And I'd rather go against the Rams and possibly lose just because the amount of friends that I have that are Eagles fans that will clown me for weeks upon weeks is too much for me to handle. So if we beat the Rams, we'll probably meet the Eagles unless they screw it up in the first round, which I mean they haven't been the best when it comes to that, but I think it'll be fun. Next, so okay, going into the Cowboys game finally. This is a big game because if we win this, we secure the 6th seed. So keys to winning: offensively, pass the ball to Terry. You have to keep OZ in the game because OZ has been very good. Focus on running. The Dallas D line, I think, is a little weaker right now. I think some injuries have kind of plagued them, so you got to keep on that. Brian Robinson, hold on to the football. You did good at not fumbling it, but I'm still a little worried about it. Then, offensively as well, be smart with the ball. Don't throw interceptions. And make sure the offense is actually running this time. The last Cowboys game, we didn't come alive till the end. So, watch that. Then, defensively, it's all in the cornerbacks. I said it last game. It was all in the cornerbacks. Bijan was hard to stop. And also, they don't really have a running back right now that we should be too afraid of. Our run defense is terrible, so really anyone can look good, but just stop them. I think you can. And then cornerback, they don't have CeeDee Lamb. If we can't stop them, I'd be very, very upset. And Cooper Rush hasn't been playing too well recently, so we'll see. Because that Eagles Cowboys game was embarrassing for them. Which our loss to the Cowboys was embarrassing. So don't make that mistake as well. And then the major point, the biggest point I have is do not kick the ball Devontae Turpin's way. Do not kick it his way. We saw what happened. We've dealt with the consequences last game where he fumbled it and still returned it. Do not kick it his way. Kick it as far as possible or as high as possible so people can get there before he starts to run. I am scared of his return ability. Stop him. Please. Thank you. So, those are the keys to victory. Just be smart and play some clean football. Hopefully, we go up enough in the first half where we can put our second stringers out and have Marcus Mariota out there. Or even at the end, give Stan Hartman a snapper too, because that would be fun to watch, but I don't think that'll happen because he needs to be activated, I think. Something like that. And it's a whole thing, but just play well, get the second stringers in at the second half. And then just other games that are big. I mean, Bengals, Steelers is a big game, especially for it's big for three different teams because it puts the Broncos on the hot burner and it makes the Dolphins really decide it. Because if the Dolphins win, Bengals can't make it and at all, and the Broncos could still make it. If the Bengals win, of course they still need the Broncos to lose, and they need the um, Dolphins lose. So the Bengals have it the hardest. Literally, the Broncos just have to win or tie to make it. So that's the easiest. They're playing the Chiefs, who are sitting a bunch of people. Carson Wentz is starting, like I've already said. So I doubt that they'll lose that, but there's still a chance maybe the Chiefs say, hey, you're a division rival. Maybe we don't want you making the playoffs, which the Dolphins have to lose to the Jets, which is possible. Uh, the Dolphins can't. I just think the Dolphins sometimes have a hard time in clutch moments, and it's kind of the Commanders' conundrum. Sometimes we can't really beat over 500 teams, which we have in the last 2 weeks. So that kind of is floating away from us, but it's still with the Dolphins. So we'll see what happens there. But a lot of playoff implications. Going to be some fun episodes soon. Some fun episodes. I'm working on some two big ones, and I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for supporting me through the last year. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for Wednesday, Friday episodes, maybe other episodes sprinkled in there. We'll see. But thank you for watching. Have a great night. Have a great weekend, and bye. Subscribe.